What is up, everyone? Welcome to the FA podcast. Happy Football Friday. Hope everyone's having a good start to the weekend. So we got another mock draft tonight. Just me, so it's gonna be all my analysis on these two teams. But we're doing the Denver Broncos. Got my Tim Tebow jersey on and watching some WBC, World Baseball Classic. Paying attention to some basketball as well right now. But we got football to talk about. Broncos and Rams. We'll go with the PFSN player list tonight to see if that's any different from the last mock we did, where the valuation was a little wonky. But let's get to it here. So the Rams traded their first round pick, number 29 overall, to the Chiefs in a package deal for corner Trent McDuffie. So Rams do still have a first round pick. That's the 13th overall selection from the Atlanta Falcons when they traded up to select James Pierce Jr. last year in the first round. So that is where we'll start with the Rams. The Denver Broncos are down further with their playoff run to the AFC Championship. They are 30th. So we got Fernando Mendoza, of course, at the top. Jets going David Bailey. Jeremiah Love to the Cardinals. That's not right. Carnell Tate to the Titans. Also weird. Jordan Tyson to the Giants. Francis Mauigoa to the Browns. Arvell Reese to the Commanders. Ruben Bain to the Saints. Chiefs going Caleb Downs. Eagles trading up to get Kenyon Sadiq, tight end out of Oregon. Jermon McCoy going to the Dolphins. Caleb Lomu to the Cowboys. Eagles trading 23, 54, and 68. So we are on with the Rams here. And yeah, I mean, things have changed, right? I changed up my team needs a little bit here for the Trent McDuffie trade. So with that in mind, the Rams, I have their number one need as tackle. When you look at this roster, there's not a ton of holes. However, Alaric Jackson is back. But right tackle is the biggest issue I see. Warren McClendon, a 23 fifth-round pick, is okay. They do have DJ Humphries, but he's a free agent. David Questenberry as well. I think they should get younger at tackle, and that is my number one need. Again, this team does not have a ton of needs. So it was tough to find a real outside of corner, right? Which they do still need. They do still need corner. It was hard to find a lot of needs. But tackle is my number one. Safety is my second one. Now, that also changed today. Cam Curl signing a 3-year extension. So that also is sort of out of the way. Wide receiver would be my next one. Devontae Adams is not getting any younger, and I still think they need some depth at that wide receiver position, but that is definitely not a first-round need. Corner, like I said, again, and then quarterback and the linebacker, obviously. Quarterback, Matthew Stafford, older, probably his last year. He's on a year-to-year basis. You never know. Jimmy Garoppolo's free agent. Stetson Bennett still rolling around LA there. And then linebacker, Troy Reader's a free agent, and they re-signed, I believe, Omar Spates. So they still need some more talent there, though, I think. Anyways, what do we have here? There are no trade offers, surprisingly, for the 13th overall selection. And I think it's an easy pick. I mean, it's best player available. The fact that Sonny Styles is still on the board here, a versatile player, can play converted safety to linebacker. He can play in coverage. Is a great tackler as well. I mean, that's an easy selection for me. I think linebacker, Sonny Styles, the value fits one of my needs anyways here. Ravens going Oliva Vega Ione. Mansour Delane to the Bucks. Mekhi Lemon to the Jets. Keldrick Falk to the Lions. Dylan Thieneman to the Vikings. Avion Terrell for the Panthers. Caleb Banks to the Cowboys. Spencer Fano to the Steelers. Chargers going Brandon Cisse. Caden Proctor for the Bengals after trading down. Omar Cooper Jr. to the Browns. Peter Woods to the Bears. Caden McDonald, the Chiefs coming up for Caden McDonald, moving up 3 spots, 29 and 74. Akeem Messidor to the 49ers. Monroe Freeling to the Texans. Bills going CJ Allen. So that really sucks. This is not a bad offer. 4 spots for the Cardinals. Give us a second rounder next year. That's too many spots down, 18 for the Falcons, even though it is a decent deal, giving a 48-79 and a second next year for 30 and a fourth rounder, 108. What do the Broncos need? So the Broncos are an interesting one. Alex Singleton is a free agent. That is why linebacker is my number one need for the Denver Broncos. Tight end also looks like a massive, massive need. Running back as well with J.K. Dobbins, a free agent. Interior defensive line, John Franklin Myers is a free agent. I also think they need an upgrade at nose with Malcolm Roach and some depth pieces there in the interior. And wide receiver, of course, Cortland Sutton can't do it all himself. Troy Franklin had a good second year, as Pat Bryant had a good rookie year as well. Marvin Mims, the return guy, but they need depth and upgrades there as well. Give Cortland a better running mate, I think. But what is on the board here for the Denver Broncos? It's wide receiver. I mean, Casey Concepcion is an excellent player. That would allow them to potentially trade Marvin Mims as a return specialist to get some compensation. Now, the Broncos have not cut anyone of note. The secondary is solid. The offensive line is pretty good as well. So there again aren't a ton of needs, but Casey Concepcion would be a guy I'd go after. Chris Bell is there as well. Jacob Rodriguez, right? He is a guy that a lot of teams like. I like him as well. Of course, you can always go edge. The Broncos like to keep that edge rush going. I don't see really a ton of need right there, but yeah, I think that I will. I would like Casey Concepcion here, but I'm gonna accept the trade offer. I think getting a second round pick for a young team that made the AFC Championship in year 2 under Sean Payton, I think that that'd be a good option here for the Denver Broncos. Or year 3 under Sean Payton, year 2 for Bo Nix, I should say. So getting a ton of value, 55% on that side. So let's move down 4 into the second round. The Cardinals do come up for Casey Concepcion, TJ Parker to the Patriots. Seahawks going Colton Hood. And the Jets, there is Ty Simpson. Okay. Now we're on the clock again with the Denver Broncos. We got a second rounder from the Cardinals in tow. And the Bengals want to move up 7 spots for their second rounder next year. Cardinals want to move up again for a whole boatload of picks. I like sticking here. Why? Because we have our guy that we want, right? Chris Bell is definitely an option. Massive size, 6'4", 198. But I'm going with Jacob Rodriguez to fill that Alex Singleton spot in the starting lineup beside Dre Greenlaw and Drew Sanders. I really love Jacob Rodriguez going to the Denver Broncos here in the early second round. Keith Abney to the Titans. We got Blake Miller to the Raiders. D'Angelo Pons for the Giants. Chase Besantis for the Texans. Emmanuel McNeil Warren, the Browns. Cassius Howell to the Chiefs. Chris Johnson for the Bengals. Chris Bell to the Saints. Just looking at what I got for the Rams here. Because Lee Hunter, the fact that he is on the board, the fact that Maxi and Achor is on the board still, I really strongly consider coming up for Ian Achor because I think he's a beast. Beatrice Crownover is next. Let's see if we can come up for Ian Achor. I know it's quite a ways, 18 selections. But I think the value is pretty good at 43. Trying to trade up with the Dolphins. Yeah, so we're going to give up our second rounder next year to come up 18 spots. Yeah, I mean, it's giving a little bit of value there, but I like it. Yeah, give me Maxi and Achor, okay? Yeah, we just traded up. We're not. Really love this kid. Balled out at the Senior Bowl. I was super impressed with his run blocking and his pass blocking. Massive size, 6'6", 321. Can play inside, outside as well. So positionally versatile, and I think a great swing tackle backup in his rookie year and a starter going forward, 27 and beyond. Give Stafford some more protection there. AJ Hall, C to the Jets. Denzel Boston, Steelers coming up 53 and 85 intra-division trade with the Ravens. Zion Young to the Bucks. Traden Stukes for the Colts. Chris Brazzell to the Falcons. Jennings Dunker for the Vikings. Lions going Genesis Smith. Panthers going Sam Hecht. And you know what? We're going to come up again. Because again, this is value, right? Lee Hunter, a massive piece here. 24 years old. It is what it is. But this kid is super strong, powerful inside, pass rush upside as well. They're losing John Franklin Myers. I think he can be a 1 or a 3 tech in the Broncos 3-4 base defense for Vance Joseph. And he's going to love this kid. Learning under Zach Allen and DJ Jones inside there. I think that's going to be an incredible defensive addition to the Broncos front seven. So let's see if the Packers will move back with us here. 62 to 52, just 10 spots, right? Yeah, let's see if we can get away with let's give a 4th rounder next year, and let's roll. All right, well, they rejected us, even though it said likely to accept. All right, let's go with our 4th rounder this year. There, it's a little bit more even, and they're getting more value than they're giving away. There we go. So, yeah, I really loved the Lee Hunter selection here. That's a crazy trade that the Jets want to make. That one's not as crazy, but still. Lee Hunter to the Broncos makes a ton of sense inside. And, give me Lee Hunter. Keontae Scott for the Ravens. Bengals going Christian Miller. Malachi Lawrence, the Chargers. Patriots coming up for Anthony Hill, 63, 131. R. Mason Thomas to the Bears. Demetrius Crownover to the 49ers. Emmett Johnson for the Texans. Jeremy Bernard for the Bears. Antonio Williams to the Dolphins. Davison Igbinosun for the Packers. Jacoby Lane for the Jaguars. Josiah Trotter for the Seahawks. Cardinals start out round 3 with Julian Neal. Skylar Bell, Commanders coming up 71, fourth next year. Manuel Pregnon, Saints coming up 73, 149. Bengals getting Parker Brailsford. Grayson Halton for the Texans. Keelan Rutledge for the Browns. Titans going Oscar Delp. Kamari Ramsey for the Bengals. Ted Hurst to the Raiders. Bills going Lewis Moore. Justin Jolie for the Dolphins. Will Lee for the Steelers. Mike Washington Jr. for the Bucks. Elijah Surratt for the Colts. Isaiah World goes to the Falcons. Ravens going Jonah Coleman. And we are going to come up again with the Denver Broncos. I know I'm trading up a lot, but we have extra selections here. 94 to 81. That's probably a little bit too rich for me, but with a second round pick from the Cardinals next year, we can afford to trade our third round selection next year, overvaluing it by 16 points per PFSN. But I still think this is a solid trade. 2 third rounders to move up 13 spots in the third round. And you're going to go get your guy right at running back. And it's Jadarian Price. He's a very effective runner, just as good as his running mate in Jeremiah Love. But 5'11", 203 home run hitter. I think it's a beautiful fit for Sean Payton's scheme, the outside zone running. And give me Jadarian Price for the Broncos. That's going to round out the Broncos. Excellent draft class here. Traded back, got a second rounder from the Cardinals next year, and we picked up Jacob Rodriguez in the middle of the defense, picked up Lee Hunter in the front of the defense, in front of him on defense, and now let's get an offensive weapon for Bo Nix and get the running back Jadarian Price here to fill in for J.K. Dobbins leaving in free agency. Connor Liu to the Vikings. Gabe Jacas, the Bills coming up 91, 164. Jets coming up for Darrell Jackson, 103, 139. Ravens get Jake Golday. Eli Stowers for the Chargers. Caleb Tiernan for the Dolphins. Malik Muhammad for the Jags. Jalen Kilgore for the Bears. Dolphins going Deontay Lawson. Panthers, they're going to get Bud Clark. That's an excellent selection there. Kendrick Law for the 49ers, and we are back on the clock with our final selection, the LA Rams. Cardinals want to move up. That's actually not a bad deal. 7th rounder and a 93 for to move back 11 spots, pick up a 4th round next year. But we're going to stick and pick here. And wow, there's a guy right there that I really love. But what do we got for the Rams so far? Sonny Styles, excellent pick at 13 overall. Max Dianacher, we went up to get a tackle late, or mid second round. And now we're back on the clock. Look, the Rams, they did sign Cam Curl. They have Cam Kitchens, Jalen McCullough. So they're fine at safety now. I'm going to actually delete that off of my list here. But wide receiver, we do have some wide receivers. Zachariah Branch, excellent player. Gadget type of guy. They have a quarterback and corner. So we have Takario Davis, Hezekiah Massis here. And then linebacker, not a ton. But I like Takario Davis, right? 6'4", 194, long corner. Excellent player at Arizona. Wasn't the greatest at Washington this past year under his coach Jed Fish, who he followed to UW. But I still think it's an excellent selection, and they fortify that backfield with McDuffie, Takario Davis, Darius Williams, who they re-signed, Emmanuel Forbes, who they still have, as well as Quentin Lake in the nickel. So give me Takario Davis. I know there's a lot of offensive weapons here that Sean McVay would probably be intrigued by Zachariah Branch. Bryce Lance is a guy I really love. Brendan Thompson, of course, the combine speedster there, but I'm going with the corner, Takario Davis. Hopefully he can regain his Arizona form. Tristan Lee for the Jags, rounding it out here. Zachariah Branch to the Patriots. Derek Moore to the Seahawks. LT Overton, Titans coming up, 101, 6th rounder next year. Bryce Lance for the Eagles, love that. Cage Casey to the Steelers, and the Jags going. Dominique Orange to round out the draft. So we went up and down the board here with the Broncos and the Rams. Broncos, we traded back from 30 to 34, picked up Jacob Rodriguez and a 2nd-round pick from the Cardinals next year. Should be high, I believe. Lee Hunter, we traded up for to 52. And love that in front to fill in for John Franklin Myers leaving in free agency. And Jadarian Price, we get a fill in for the J.K. Dobbins loss in free agency. Pair him with R.J. Harvey, Jaleel McLaughlin, and Tyler Beatty, and you have a really solid running back room there. For the Rams, we did not get the quarterback of the future, which is okay because I don't think they are going to go that route early in this draft. But Sonny Styles was too good to pass up at linebacker at 13. We traded up for Max Iheanacho at 43 to get a future tackle prospect, right or left. And then we got Takario Davis to solidify the secondary around Trent McDuffie from Washington there. So that is our picks. Really loved all three, especially the Broncos, though. I thought those fit perfectly. The trade-up scenarios that we did, giving up little to move up. I thought that was a pretty solid showing. So thank you all for watching. Don't forget to follow us on all our social media at FAA Podcast, Instagram and X, FAA_bets on X as well. FAApodcast.com is our website. You can check us out here on YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram, as well as Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and iHeartRadio, and TikTok at Football Addicts Pod on TikTok there. Thank you all for watching, and we will see y'all back on Monday.